Were ancient Indian and Egyptian kings and people in direct contact, or was it just trade contact through indirectly through Mesopotamia? See, in those days we did not have aircraft. So if I feel like, okay, to let's go to Cairo and visit the pyramid, so I go and book my things, and 3 days later I'm in Cairo. Did not work like that. If you had to go to Egypt, it was like a journey of a lifetime. You would go by ship. You would cross the Western Indian Ocean. You would go into. Let's go to the map, right? Very quickly. Where is map? Here is map. So if you had to go to Egypt, you would cross the Western Indian Ocean. You would go into the Gulf of Aden. You would go through the Strait of Bab al Mandeb. You would then go up the Red Sea northwards, and then you would end up in Egypt, which was this region. That's what you would do. So only traders would do that. Kings did not visit each other. In those days, there was no state visit. Like right now, Mr. Modi, our prime minister, he was in Japan yesterday, I believe, or day before yesterday, and right now he's in China. So world leaders today, they go on state visits and they visit each other. They know each other very well. Those days, with leaders, kings, emperors never visited each other unless they visited their vassals. That's a different story. It is possible that it is likely that Chandragupta Maurya, our emperor, would have met with Seleucus Nicator, the emperor of the Seleucid Empire. That's possible because that was a very unique set of circumstances. That is quite possible. But in ordinary conditions, you would never have a king meeting with another king, especially from other parts of the world. Would not happen. Um, so ancient Indian and Egyptian kings would not meet. And for example, like I said, when kings met their vassals and carried out correspondence, let me show you a great example from Egypt. Okay, the Amarna letters. Let us go to our friend Google. Some people tell me, why don't you use Perplexity or something? No, I will use Google. So it's called Amarna letters, right? Yeah, there we have it. So this the Amarna letters will go to Wikipedia. I showed you very very clearly how Wikipedia distorts Indian history, but we can look at this. Okay, uh, Amarna letters. So this is diplomatic correspondence between the kings of Egypt and their various neighbors. This is very interesting. Akhenaten and Tushratha. Tushratha was the king of the Mitanni, and he had extensive correspondence with Akhenaten. After Akhenaten dies, he has correspondence with Akhenaten's widow, and then he has correspondence with the next king as well. Very interesting correspondence that you see over here. Mitanni king Tushratha to Amenhotep II. So Tushratha's sister was married to the pharaoh of Egypt. Then his daughter was also married to the pharaoh of Egypt. So you have this extensive correspondence, and it's about golden statues and all. And Tushratha is complaining a lot. Uh, he has a letter to the widow of the king also. So when you find this sort of thing, it's really interesting, and this still survives for Egypt, but we kind of have lost uh, all records of our history, written records, unfortunately. So coming back to the main question, this was actually a digression that I did here because it's interesting. Always fun to think of something different. Yep, but yeah. So there was trade contact between India and Egypt. You would have traders traveling to the two civilizations. You would have Egyptian traders coming to India. You would have Indian traders going in great numbers to Egypt, that sort of thing. And it's very clear that around 2000 BC, you had the presence of Indians in Egypt because you have the introgression of Indian cattle in Egypt, the Zebu cattle that only originated in India, nowhere else. And was it indirectly through Mesopotamia? I would imagine it would have been direct contact, not through Mesopotamia, through a proxy. Why do you need a proxy? You trade with Mesopotamia, you can also trade with Egypt directly. So it would have been direct trade.